Hey guys, it's Greg here, and today I'm going to review the new play To Kill a Mockingbird, adapted by Aaron Sorkin. And this play I just saw yesterday, even though it's been out for probably 4 or 5 years. Obviously started in New York on Broadway, and it's made its way out here to the West Coast. I saw it at the Thousand Oaks Civic Center out here in the beautiful, clean suburbs of Ventura County. Great play. Very important political message in this play that Aaron Sorkin really screwed up. So on the one hand, I'm going to tell you this is a great play. It's entertaining. It's thought-provoking. You should go see it if you can. On the other hand, I'm going to say that Aaron Sorkin made one big mistake that I think he made intentionally. And this is going to be a politically motivated kind of a message here. This is going to have nothing to do with music or vinyl records. If you're tuning in to talk about vinyl records, this is one of the few videos that is not about vinyl records. So everybody hopefully has read the book To Kill a Mockingbird by Harper Lee, published in 1960, about the racially divided Deep South that she grew up in, and required reading for every American school child, and became a Academy Award winning movie in, I think, 1961, with a extremely famous and beloved portrayal by Gregory Peck, and a Pulitzer Prize winning book. This book has a phenomenal impact and influence on American culture and politics and America, okay? It just is. It's one of the most important books on racial divisions in American history. And this play is not the movie. It is an adaptation of the book. And Aaron Sorkin took a lot of creative freedom, license to rewrite much of this work to fit into a play format. And a lot of it is very creative, and a lot of it a little bit controversial. He reformatted the linearity of the book and starts with the trial. Or actually, he starts with what happened after the trial, and then he gets into the trial, and the play cuts back and forth between trial and other scenes repeatedly. Doesn't bother me at all. It's very, very creative and original. The Harper Lee estate actually sued Aaron Sorkin because they didn't like everything that he did with the play. They didn't like the fact that Sorkin tried to make Atticus Finch the main character and protagonist of the play. Maybe he changed that, because I didn't sense that at all. To me, Scout, the little girl, Atticus Finch's daughter, was the main character, main narrator of the play, and she's in almost every scene. And I thought her character was very well done and well written. There's a lot of extra humor in the play that is not apparent at all in the book or the movie, and that's fine. That's good for a Sunday matinee theater-going audience. And most of the humor is good-natured. Some of it is a little not so much. I'll get into that. One of the interesting decisions that the director made, not the writer, but the director. Who directed it again? Just to be nice to this person. Someone with a name of Bartlett Sher, not Bartlett Pear. Bartlett Sher, I don't know this person. I'm not a play guy. Interesting creative choice he made was to cast the 3 children to have them played by adults. So in the New York version, the original, Scout Finch, who's supposed to be like 7 or 8 years old, was played by a 40-year-old. And in the LA version, it was played by a much younger but still adult Maeve Moynihan. Did a wonderful job, and she's probably 23 or something. I don't know. So you've got 3 adults, and I think the role was too big for children to play. Complicated, a lot of hours, school hours, all that stuff. Can you take children on the road and have them play 10 shows a week? I don't even think that's logistically possible. Maybe that was why he did it. I thought the set design was very interesting. Some people thought it was too, what's this mean? Too much noise in terms of the sets were changed in the middle of each scene. Okay, we're ending this scene, but here comes the courtroom scene, so the actor is going to push in the courtroom piece. That didn't bother me at all. I thought that was very creative. Anyway, so let's get to what was wrong with the play. And, the book has an extremely important political message, multiple messages, okay? It's about racism and racial division in the South, right? Everyone kind of knows that superficial message about the play. Hey, a black man has been accused wrongly of raping a white woman, and that's an injustice. Okay, that's the sort of top level of the movie. Other messages in the movie had to do with the innocence of the youth. Scout is a 6 or 7-year-old girl, and she's experiencing racism, and yet she lives in a racist community and is trying to figure out, how am I supposed to react to these racist people? And that's where Aaron Sorkin takes this in the wrong direction, in my opinion. Atticus Finch is this very respected and thoughtful and just lawyer, and he tries to teach his kids that racism is bad, and hating people is bad, and hating anybody is bad, and rather than hate people, it's up to God to judge people. It's not up to us to judge our people. And the phrase he uses specifically is, you can't really judge a person until you've, what's the word? What does he say? Lived in their skin. I don't know if he said wiggled around in their skin or crawled inside their skin, but until you've looked at the world from the point of view of your adversary, you can't really understand their point of view. Is that such a shocking message? In today's world, it is. But, it's a very, it's sort of a theme on do not judge others lest ye be judged, right? That is like the most important message of Christianity. That's from Jesus' Sermon on the Mount. Do not judge others, and forgiveness, right? That's a very Christian message, and this is a very Christian, Bible-thumping, Bible church-going town in the South. And you have people who go to church on Sunday and act like racists on Monday. And Atticus is trying to teach his kids, you have to look at it from their point of view. Don't hate them, understand them. And that's a message that is completely out the window in today's politics, right? So that's a Christian message. It's also a Jewish message. As a Jew, not a super religious guy at all, but since Aaron Sorkin is Jewish, and Judaism was mentioned a couple times in the play, where the accused racist dad is throwing out, Atticus, you're just, you're Jewish, you come from, you're these, you think you're smarter than us, you're educated, you went to school, it's sort of anti-Semitism aimed at the elite educated from the working class. Where was I going with this? Oh, the Jewish perspective on this judge, do not judge lest ye be judged, in the Jewish Talmud, which I don't read, but I've heard about, is, part of Jewishness is having meaningful discussions with people, even if you disagree with them, and you can't really have a meaningful discussion unless you took the time to understand your adversary's point of view. That's pretty much exactly the same thing that Atticus is saying. Crawling around in their skin, so you can understand the world from their point of view. All you folks are out there saying, well, I wouldn't have been a racist in 1840, even if I lived on a plantation and my daddy had slaves, and we lived this bountiful, wealthy life with slaves. I would have been anti-slavery. Well, probably no, you wouldn't have, because that's how you grew up. That's what you learned. That's your point of view. So that message that Atticus Finch tried to instill in his children, don't be racist, don't prejudge other people, don't hate people just because they disagree with you. Aaron Sorkin took that message and threw it in the trash and put the Aaron Sorkin imprint on it and said, no, that's out. forget the tradition, the Judeo-Christian tradition of loving thy neighbor. If you disagree with your neighbor, go ahead and hate them. Go ahead and be violent to them. That's Aaron Sorkin's message, believe it or not. And that is a corruption of Harper Lee's original message. One of the most, the line, I'm not going to give the line, I'm not going to give you spoilers, but the line in the movie and the play that bears this out was uttered once in the movie at the end. Sorkin opens the play with this line and dwells on it a little bit, and at the end of the play he repeats that line over and over and over, and multiple people are repeating that line, and he bookends the entire play with this one controversial line, and he takes it out of context, and he basically ridicules it. He ridicules the idea of do not judge others until you've crawled around in their skin. He ridicules that by having the maid Calpurnia repeat that and say, I ain't crawling around in the skin of no trashy white lady, racist blank. I ain't doing that. Again, I'm not here to give you a point of view and take sides. This is the whole point, is American politics is so divisive right now. Everything is about taking sides. Well, which side are you on? We can't figure out which side Greg is on, and therefore we don't know if we should love him or hate them. That's not the way to think of the world. That's not the way to think of your friends, neighbors, fellow citizens. Today we have two-sided politics, and one side will call you a deplorable, and one side will call you a libtard, or whatever words you want to use. And that is a fake way of looking at the world, because really everyone in America wants the same thing. We just disagree on how to achieve it. We all want everyone to be educated, well-fed, have a roof over their head, have good medical care. We all want that for everybody, okay? There's maybe a few evil politicians and CEOs who don't want that, but for the most part, your neighbors want that, and we don't agree on how to achieve that. But Americans agree on more than they disagree on. So the fact that we all disagree and you have to pick a side and you have to hate the other side, that's fake. That's fake news. That was one of the main points of Harper Lee. That was one of the main points of Atticus Finch. If you don't believe that, that's fine. I'm not here telling you what to believe. I'm telling you this is the main theme of Harper Lee's book. And Aaron Sorkin turned it on his head and said, screw that. It's okay to hate people just because you disagree with them. You don't have to listen to their point of view. Just hate them because they're evil people. And that's bad for America. Have you seen what American politics has devolved into in the last 5 or 6 years? That's bad for America. And Aaron Sorkin threw out Harper Lee's main point. And, what else can I say? Okay, so back to the play itself, instead of me ranting on. So the lady that Calpurnia was referring to, I ain't going to crawl around that old dried up racist lady's skin. The lady she was referring to is their neighbor, the old lady, crabby old lady, who sat on the porch and yelled at Scout and told her to put on a dress and quit being a tomboy. She was played by Mary Badam. Mary Badam was the original Scout in the original movie 60-some years ago. So that's just a pretty cool thing that they found her and got her to play another key role in the movie. Bad ham. And that's funny because Scout dressed up as a bad ham, if you know the story. The other interesting character, now we're getting into the book a little bit. The other interesting character in the book, so back up. The book itself is largely autobiographical. Okay, Harper Lee did grow up in the South. Her mother's maiden name was Finch, actually. Her father's family name, Lee, she was related to Robert E. Lee, Southern Confederate general. And she lived in a time in the South where there was division about, okay, North, South, hey, the Southerners, we still remember that war against the North, the War of the Confederacy. The South will rise again. So you understand the difficulty of growing up in that era and trying to be a good person surrounded by people who still have ties to the old Southern ways. So anyway, her father, in fact, was a Southern lawyer, a real estate lawyer. He was involved in politics and Alabama, whatever, state politics. He was not a criminal lawyer, but he did get stuck with defending 2 black men in real life that were accused of killing a white man. And those men were found guilty and they were hanged. So he's 3 for 3. All 3 of his criminal, you know what I'm saying, didn't come out well for any of his clients. Interesting thing about To Kill a Mockingbird. Okay, so you've got Scout, and her best friend was this guy, Dill. Dill, the only gay character in To Kill a Mockingbird. What are you talking about, Greg? Well, Dill was based on Truman Capote. Truman Capote, one of the greatest American authors, Breakfast at Tiffany's, In Cold Blood, other stuff. Truman Capote was her real-life neighbor and childhood friend that she grew up with and was influential on her. And there was a point in time where I thought, well, how could she have written this book out of nowhere? She's written one book, and it's Pulitzer Prize greatest book. And her best friend, Truman Capote, well, did he help her? Did he write it for her? Well, the story is so much from her point of view under the singular thing that happened to her. I'm throwing away that conspiracy theory. But she befriended him as a child, and she also hung out with him when she was older, and she accompanied him to Kansas State Penitentiary when he was working on In Cold Blood, a book about a heinous murder, and you should read that. That's a terrifying but wonderfully written book. Okay, so Dill, I told you about Mary, and was there something else? So again, the play is not based on the movie. Don't go in to the play thinking, I'm going to watch the movie acted out on stage. That's not what happens at all. It is a very original script. The time frames and the linearity is much different. There are some key scenes that are in the movie and also in the play, others that aren't. There's characters that show up that aren't. There's characters from the book that weren't in the movie but are in the play. So go into this with an open mind and go see. Well, did I even tell you who the star was? Richard Thomas from Walton's fame, John Boy. Okay, so Jeff Daniels was the star in New York. And now on the touring companies, there have been different people. Ed Harris played it for a little while, but now we have Richard Thomas, John Boy, who's now in early 70s. He did a phenomenal job. All the acting, for the most part, was phenomenal. Big thumbs up for the play. Go see it. And then keep in mind that Aaron Sorkin changed things around to politicize things that I think were inappropriate, but you be the judge, lest you be judged. Okay, guys, To Kill a Mockingbird. Read the book, see the movie, drink the tequila, and see the play. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.